you're here. Big news. This channel has just been voted the best channel on YouTube 3 years in a row. I'm still the only one voting, but I take that as a win. Well, welcome back if you've been here before. At first glance, it looks like we are ready to put sheathing on. We are not ready to put sheathing on, not even close. I hope to get there by the next episode, but we'll see. We have a plethora of little things to do. We still have some blocking to put in right here. And we have a few areas where we need to put a couple squash blocks in as well. We need to do some ladder framing right here. I want to adjust this eye joist right here. It's not sitting exactly where I like. And I have to add insulation because if we put the sheathing on right now, there's no way to get insulation between this shear wall, this load-bearing shear wall, and this eye joist right here. There would be a gap there, and that would be a cold spot, and we don't want that. And we have just a little bit of planing to do. There's a 6x6 post and a 4x4 post here. And I know the 6x6 needs to be planed just a skosh. And we need to finish putting our rim joist in. And I don't think that's all. I think there's more stuff I'm forgetting about right now. But there's a lot of little things that have to be done. So let's get right to it. Okay, let's start with moving this joist right here. Do you see how down there it's up against that interior load-bearing wall? Well, this luckily is in two sections, and the one right against that wall over there is in its own section. That's easy for me to say. So what I'm going to do is leave that one where it is because I can't move it. It's tight against that wall. And I'm going to take this one and move it over, and here's why. See that 288 mark right there? That's where the sheathing would split. And I don't want to leave only 3/16 of an inch on one side to nail it to. So I'm going to take this, move it over. It'll just make me feel better. And that's the main thing. Down there, I'm not concerned. Right next to that joist down there will be that interior shear wall, which is going to be flush with the joist. So I can just nail the sheathing to that sill plate if I need to. So I have my metal blade and my multi-tool. Let's see if we can just snap these 6 nails off. Well, this worked pretty good for the first two. Let's hope the rest work just as smoothly. Yeah, this isn't quite as easy as it was getting around down here, but we'll get by. Since I'll be moving this over about a 1/2 inch, I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch of meat off of these flanges, top and bottom, on just one side, so I can move it over closer. Because if I don't do that, then this will just butt up against that 3x6 sill that's going to be up there. And then I'm going to add some web stiffeners and a squash block, just because I can. That way I don't have to think about it. That way there's no weak spots. In fact, it'll only be stronger. I had someone mention from the last episode in a comment that I just like saying squash blocks. I mean, I kind of do, but that's not the point. Okay, let's do some cutting. I'm just going to take this and flip it upside down just so I'm not nailing through the same spots everywhere. There's no real top or bottom, like I mentioned, so let's do that. I think it would just make sense. Because our blocks are going to be on the opposite side as that wall. Our blocks and our web stiffeners. Okay, that's good. See that gap in there? I'm gonna take this block, this notch that I cut out, and I'm gonna set it right there on the bottom so that it's tight. Then of course, once everything's nailed down on top, that'll tie the top in. All right, I'd like to get this rim joist on, but got a big hold down bolt right there. So that means I have to put squash blocks on both sides of it. And you know what, did I tell you what these are called? These are called squash blocks. Squash blocks. Squash blocks. Squash blocks? Okay, that's it. I won't say squash blocks anymore until I have to the next time. Now you know why my little sister hated me growing up. Okay, let's get back to work. Enough of this tomfoolery. Just like that. Okay, except for this wall, we are finished up with those rim joists. So that's good. This is going to be a special deal. I think I mentioned last time, or maybe the time before, or both. This is going to have to be cut down. This rim joist here will have to be cut down about an inch. And because this is a load-bearing wall, and it is a double shear wall, we're actually going to have virtually two rim joists, one on the outside and one on the inside of this 3x6 here. So it's not a very common setup. Like I said, it's just because we have huge openings over here, tall ceilings, and not much wall on each side of that opening. Only about 4.5, 5 feet, something like that on each side. That's why it has to be fastened down so well. So I have some ideas on how I'm going to rip those, but let's do that just a little bit later in this episode. For now, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks I have to put in. Let's take care of that. Well, we're back at it today. Chilly today. I had to put my flannel back on. Okay, let's cut these rim joists right here. Because this is a thicker sill plate by 1 inch than everything else, and our joists are 9.5, we're gonna have to cut these at 8.5 inches. So that's what we're gonna have to rip these. That is just over 20 feet in length across that side, times 2. So we're gonna have a lot of ripping to do. How do you wanna rip this? Table saw? Skill saw? I have a better idea. Let's use the sawmill. Why not? I can cut all the boards at the same time. They're going to be accurate. With one person, I think it'll be safer. These 16-foot LVLs are pretty heavy. And when you're the only person on a table saw for something that long, it can get a little sketchy. But I think this will work out just well. I have my blade set at just a skosh over 8.5 inches. Remember, those rim joists are a little bit taller than those eye joists are. And I double checked my measurement on all of the rests, on all of the platforms. So I looked at my backstops. They're all underneath that 8.5 inch mark. So I don't have to worry about hitting them with the saw blade. So that's a good thing. The two longest ones are just over 16 feet. And I think this is a 16-foot maximum. So we'll see. I might have to finish it up with the chainsaw and then clean it up with the skill saw once I get over there. So I have 2 just over 16 and 2 over 4. So I'm gonna sandwich those 4 in between the 2 16s. And I'm choosing to put the 4-footers where I did because of these dogs right here. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm gonna put these on the outside just to keep these ends tight, and I think it'll be a little less flapping around, if you will. Well, I'm warmed up now. All right, let's work on this inside board right here. I know I'm gonna have to cut around some of these plates on both the inside and the outside board. Looks like the inside might be worse. Let's take care of that one now, just because it's easier to handle from the outside. All right, so I'm just gonna trim up the edges on a 16-footer and then fill in the rest from there. So you may have noticed I only put a couple of nails through this rim joist into the sill plate. The engineer wants it fastened a slightly different way. Here, I'll show you. Okay, the engineer wants these Simpson strong tie. LTP4 is what this is called. This is to hold plates together, walls onto plates, that sort of a thing. And there's a line right there that goes this way and a line that goes this way. Depending on how you want it oriented, I'm going to orient mine the tall way since I have big timber top and bottom. And right there is the plate line, as it says. This one happens to be painted black because I painted it a long time ago for something, a cabin or something. So nonetheless, that's how it is. And we have these number 9 by 1.5 screws. That's what we're gonna, it's also a Simpson strong tie. That's what we're gonna use to fasten this thing down. Every 12 inches. I don't write the rules, I just follow them. So we have about 19 or 20 of these to put up, so it's gonna take a while. So let's get screwing. In fact, let's just do this one first since you're here. Hey, let's see, let's move you over a little bit. There you go. Okay. Just like that. Well, do you think those will hold the house down? I hope so. I actually ran out of those screws, so I'm gonna have to go to town at some point before I cover all this up and get some more screws. There's about 8, 10 here, about 10 here, and about 7 here. But that doesn't have to be finished in this episode. I'll get to it. Okay, before I put this outside rim joist on, I want to contend with those hold down bolts. I have 4. I have 2 on this section of wall, which will be above, and I have 2 over there. Same scenario. So I'm definitely going to put the coupler on, and I think I'm going to cut the extension as well. And I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to attach that extension now and work around it, or if I should just put everything in place and drill and hope that we can get right above these things and connect into those couplers. Let me think on that. But it's hard to think on an empty stomach, so. Okay, hold down bolt. Once this outside rim joist is on, and especially once this top is on, the sheathing, the flooring, the subfloor I should say, this is going to be unaccessible. Goodness gracious, that's really easy for me to say. So that's going to be unaccessible. The other ones, everywhere else, I'll be able to get to from underneath if I need to put these on or guide the threaded rod from above. I'll be able to do that, but not along this wall here. So let's take care of it now, add our threaded rod so that it ends up here somewhere. Where? Let's do this. 3/4 of an inch. That will represent our sheathing. Another 1.5 inches. That will represent the bottom plate of the wall above it. This is one of the brackets for this wall. This is a beefy piece of metal right here. Of course, a Simpson strong tie. This is an HDQ8. These strong ties and these hold down bolts, when you hear me talk about those, they hold down walls. These anchor bolts right here, the only thing they do is hold down the sill plate. This holds down the wall above it. So this will sit here like this. There's going to have to be an LVL here on the corner, and this will be attached to the LVL, and this will get bolted down to this right here once I add the extension. So I'll turn this so you can see it. So once we're up this high, there will be a 1/4 inch washer on top of here and a nut. So if I put that right there, that's about what we need. Of course, add a 1/4 inch. You see right there, I think 12 inches is going to do it. Anything above 13.5, then you start getting in the way of the holes up here, and you need these holes because they have special screws that go into this LVL that's going to be here. Does that all make sense? And I think the easiest way for me to do this is to actually put my coupler on now, stick my threaded rod on there now, and then use that to hold it so I can cut it. Otherwise, I have to put it in a vise and may have to do it in the barn. And this is just easier. Why not use it? Why not do this? So the first thing we're going to do is put this coupler on here. And I want this coupler to go halfway. Halfway is about right there. I know you can't see that black mark I just put on there. Here's what I'm going to do. Try and mess up my threads on purpose so that this coupler cannot screw down any farther than where I mess it up. Okay, well, it's kind of messed up. It's hard to mess this stuff up because this is hardened steel. It's hard. Okay, I'm there. Okay, let's take this threaded rod and screw it down onto that. But before I do that, gotta have a nut on there so that after I cut this, I'm able to correct those threads at that cut line and put another nut on there because, well, same principle. Want to be able to get it off of both pieces. And this is just too long to go all the way down from the top. So we'll do this. And even this is long. So how you been? How's your back doing? Is it doing okay? Okay, good. All right, where are we? Let's try this. It's on there. Now, where's my mark? I think my cut line is right there. Let's triple check. Yep, that's it. For the time this is sitting there like that, cut right in between there anywhere. This is a pretty big deal because the inspectors like to look at things like this. All right, let's cut it. Okay, that works. Clean that up just a little bit. Solid. That comes on and off. We're good to go. One down, three to go. Okay, all four of these are in. Is that what you thought I was gonna do? I never know if I'm explaining things accurately because a lot of people don't even know what the heck a hold down bolt is. So there you have it. That's what I have to do. So I have to do this everywhere there's a hold down bolt. But like I mentioned, the rest of it, I should be able to do from the top. I'll just drill a hole through the plate. I did measure, I put coordinates for every hold down bolt. I measured that, so should be good to go. So let's go ahead and put this outside rim joist on and get it finished up because it's supposed to rain tonight, but it feels like it's gonna rain sooner than tonight. So let's get moving. So we're back at it today. Let's plane the top of this 6x6 post. This is a load-bearing post here. There's going to be another post up above. But this is sticking just a bit proud of these joists right here. So let's take care of it. Better put my earplugs in. It's another chilly morning, so I had to put my flannel back on. Take a level here. You can see butts up against that. Looks like it's maybe an 1/8 inch or so. Let's see if we can get rid of it. The planer really doesn't like to take anything off of an end grain like that, but we'll make it work. All right, it is still proud. Looking a little bit better over here, a little bit primarily in this section there. That's it. Looks good. A little breezy out here right now. There's a couple high spots over there I want to take care of real quickly. If you remember where I planed that beam off a couple episodes ago, there's just a few joists, so I'm going to take care of that real quick. Okay, there's one more thing I want to finish up in this episode, and that's to do this ladder framing. My engineer calls it ladder framing. It's in essence blocking between this first joist and this rim joist. And he admitted it was kind of a conservative take on it. Not something that's absolutely necessary, but I don't mind doing it right here because, as I mentioned, I think the last episode, we're a little bit farther away from this rim joist here than we should be. Because if we were to continue that joist right there, as you see, it would be like right next to this rim joist. Well, there you have it. That's it. That's about all I can do for this episode, unless you want it to be an hour and a half long. Well, inch by inch, we're slowly getting there. There are several things I have to do yet before we put on that subfloor sheathing. I have to contend with those interior shear walls, those load-bearing walls. I have to make sure those plane out. I still have to put my joist at the very end, the very last one down on the other side, and I have to insulate behind that, and I have to insulate that little bay at the very end at the sill plate. So there's a lot of stuff we have to do yet, but we'll get there. If you come back next week, we're going to be closer. In the meantime, you take care of yourself. Oh, thanks for watching Life of the Moose. I do appreciate that. Without you, I would just be some lonely guy on a mountaintop talking to himself. So you make my behavior perfectly acceptable. All right, take care of yourself. I'll see you next week.